Is your idea of downtime during Christmas sneaking away to wrap presents in peace while the kids argue over who touched the elf on the shelf? I see you, and I'm sharing 5 ways to simplify your holidays so you can get it all done. You can relax. You can even enjoy yourself like those Hallmark movies keep promising, instead of hiding in the closet eating the gingerbread house. One of the biggest struggles I've had in the past is not getting the things I wanted to get done, or I'm totally scrambling to buy gifts, cherry candy canes, stocking stuffers, a last minute turkey. So I either end up with one that is like wolf size, or I end up with one that is like lizard size, mouse size, very small. And I am stressed. What I learned is I was starting all of this Christmas stuff way too late. My new favorite thing to do is to start it way too early, like the beginning or middle of November, or even October for a couple of things. And I'll get into that in a second. By starting these things early, it opens up so much more space in December to enjoy yourself, to do the things that you want to do and not to fall behind. And I'm going to tell you a story in a minute all about that. Shopping. Hit the mall or go on some websites. Start getting those juices flowing in your brain. This is number one, the most stressful thing. And we know Christmas is coming, so let's jump on it. I even ordered some stocking stuffers for my mom recently because I knew they would be perfect. So go ahead, make a list nice and early. And I'll get more into that later. Christmas cards. If you're one of those awesome people that still sends Christmas cards, why not address the envelopes and get things all ready so that you could just pop them in the mail in early December? You could literally even start those envelopes in August. Okay, November or October, nice and early. Well, let's talk decorating. Now, I know this can be a hot topic for some people, but nobody wants to be scrambling to put up decorations when the full chaos of Christmas concerts and ugly sweater parties hit. Now, I grew up decorating the tree in mid-December, maybe even a little bit later, closer to actual Christmas. For some people, it's like Christmas Eve, which I get, but I don't know, just seems like a lot of work. Anyway, I like to go a little bit beyond minimalist for my decorating. It is not decorated now. So I actually like to get them up before the last, and maybe like, well, before American Thanksgiving, around it. This year it's late, so end of November. I also take them down well before New Year's Eve because by then I am super ready, like I've enjoyed them and it's time for them to go. So consider decorating a little bit earlier if you don't already. Another thing you might want to consider is to minimize some of your decor. I have gone through my decorations every year. I go through more and more and I'm like, I don't need this, I don't need that. This year, there's going to be a really big change in my living room coming up where I'm going to have even less stuff to put my decor, and I'm okay with that. So maybe you want to look at limiting some of the decorations you get up, and of course, like I said, get them up early. Now, every year, my family goes to Victoria to see a beautiful Christmas extravaganza at Bouchard Gardens. One year, I messed up and I planned things way too late. We missed going. We didn't have our hotel room. We were super sad, especially my middle son. And it's definitely a good idea to plan early and to grab the very best event tickets, the hotels, the flights, the seats, and more. Last year, actually, there's this lovely Christmas train that goes a town south of us, and I couldn't get tickets. I was shocked. They actually changed the way they did it, so it was fine. I have it in my calendar to order them within the next week because I do not want to be caught without a ticket. And I even looked like pretty early last year. I was shocked. So make sure that you look at any travel ahead of time, any events, get those tickets early. I like to get my Nutcracker tickets in like September. Now, I love me some holiday treats, but I know that I should start early to avoid feeling behind. I love vanilla crunch, nuts and bolts, sugar cookies, shortbread, magic bars. Tell me what your favorite treat is down below. On my other channel, which is called Minimalist Home Living, I am diving into cooking and baking, the coziness of the holiday season. I've already made a Thanksgiving dinner because I'm Canadian, but I made it late because we were away. I will link it at the end. But I will tell you, I start baking for Christmas in mid-November, and then I will put them in the freezer. Now, my family will eat them if they know they're in the freezer. So what I do is I put them in a really big broccoli bag from Costco. They don't even know. It's so funny and I love it. Now, do you get your best ideas when you're driving or in the shower? Do you even find it hard to think of things on the spot? Because I sure do. I'm like, who am I even buying for? And that's why I give myself plenty of time to plan and strategize, as I mentioned before. And this can help save money and time and brain cells. I love having a Christmas plan, and I have this little book, and I love to have things mapped out. Now, I'm going to show you inside, but I'm going to tell you first, I wasn't always like this. One year, it was like December 22nd, and I think this was maybe like 2018 or 17. I was feeling super behind the eight ball. I did not get a bunch of stuff that I wanted to get done. I hadn't done the baking I wanted to do. I felt behind on the presents. I just felt so behind and so disappointed. I didn't even get to watch all of the things that I wanted to watch because I'm really big on my Christmas stuff. So let me show you my little book. This is my master plan. It's my Christmas missions book, and I think I got that from the Fly Lady. So let me show you. I have, at the beginning, I have an index. So it's my Christmas control journal. Now, first of all, I have got my playlist, my Christmas playlist. If I can find it, I'm going to put it in the link below. So all of the songs that I want to listen to. I'm actually kind of getting tired of my Christmas playlist. I think I'm going to have to update it, but I know I won't be putting Simply Having a Wonderful Christmas Time by Paul McCartney in there because that song drives me crazy. I have pantry staples that I want to shop for. So that brings us to the shopping section. When are you going to do that? I like to have my pantry staples by the beginning of the November. I like like tires, winter tires, booking the hotel in Victoria, like I mentioned, putting up the Christmas lights, doing wreaths, booking Polar Express tickets, all of these things. I have all of this in here, and I also have put that in my phone as a plan. Favorite shows. I'm not going to go through all of it. I even have hiding spots in here. I have the favorite baking, because have you ever been like, oh my gosh, I should have made blank and I didn't make blank? Like, no, we're not going to do that anymore. Favorite snacks, really handy. And I keep adding to it. So, and you know, I don't have to do all of these things. I've got Christmas dinner, things for Christmas dinner that I don't want to forget. Liquor. We're not big drinkers, but if we were, I would use the liquor. I even have a couple of recipes in here. My mother-in-law's sausage roll recipe. I have gifts, and what's fun is I put this Post-it note there, and I put next to it every year what I'm going to get everybody. And I have even like piled them up. So that's really handy. Like just start a book like this and you can start to add to it. Like that one year I felt so behind the eight ball and I thought that's not going to happen again. So that year was like a quote write off as far as like being well planned and organized was. But the next year was better. Every year it gets better and better and better. So I suggest starting a book like this. Speaking of planning, I think it's a really good idea to look at what we are saying yes to. Have you ever found it hard to find the time just to sit down with a cup of hot chocolate with the kids to watch National Lampoons? The problem is, this is a really busy time of year with a lot of invitations, a lot of expectations, and it's kind of exhausting. But what is truly important to you? I want you to prioritize the important events. We say yes to way too many things. Every time someone invites you to something, say this. Ooh, I'm gonna have to check my calendar. If I can make it, I will get back to you. And just make sure that you RSVP early to be courteous. But it's important to set boundaries because this is your holiday too. And yes, you love all of these people, most of them I'm sure, who are inviting you to things. But the thing is, we only have so much time. And if we are letting other people take our time, then that is not fair to our family and to ourselves. It might bring fun, but that brings me to downtime. Let's set some specific times for relaxation amidst the holiday hustle. I like to make sure that I have plenty of time to relax because if I'm super busy and running around and I don't have that time to sit and reflect, I mean, for me, I'm a Christian. I want to be thinking about why we're celebrating Christmas in the first place. I want to be having time to go for walks in the woods, just hanging out with the family. That's why I started doing the bulk of everything in November. I like to plan some family fun, plan plan a fun day of trips or movie evenings to be present with family or yourself. Maybe even make some peppermint popcorn would be fun. Having mindful rest is so important. So practice meditation, reading, light activities, recharge mentally. It's so important to have that time to rest. Also, I love to read, having a cozy winter book I love to do. And it's also really nice to have a relaxing holiday routine. So for me, it's about the tea. I absolutely love tea and protecting that downtime. Learn to say no, like I said, to safeguard your restful periods. It can be so tempting to say yes. We can feel so guilty like we need to, but don't feel like you have. Let's get to the big, ugly, gift wrapped elephant in the room: presents. Now, if it was up to me, I would do away with gifts. Yep, I'm that kind of mom, the Grinch, which is crazy because we had too many gifts when I was a kid. So you see what I mean? I'm an absolute monster that I'm like, no gifts for you, but I had them when I was a kid. No, no, no. We definitely do gifts. That's the thing. I just don't think that they're important anymore, but whatever. So the first tip: let's not go crazy. Gift within a budget. Set a clear budget per person and stick to it to avoid overspending. I'm a big YNAB person. You need a budget. I love it. And I have a section for Christmas. I know how much to put away each month for the whole of Christmas, which includes the entertainment, the things that we want to do, the food, all of it. It's all under there. But there is a budget. So we want to avoid overspending. Now, less is more, you guys. Consider gift limits for your kids. Use the something they want, something they need, something to wear, and something to read guideline. I love this one to keep the gifts minimal and thoughtful. Another thing I like to do: clutter-free gifts. Choose consumable gifts like food, drink, practical items that will not add to the clutter. How to create a simple, minimalist Christmas decor. I think it's important to avoid overwhelm during this crazy, stressful time of Christmas. Now, I love Christmas. It's actually kind of early for me to even be talking about, but you know what? You don't need extra cleaning to do, and you don't want your mind bogged down with clutter and things like that. So let's talk about how to create a minimalist Christmas decor. So a nice, clean, minimalist room is just so calm, nice on the eyes, all of that. But you know what? We are realistic minimalists, so we still want a bit of stuff around. We still want to enjoy what we're looking at. We don't just want stark rooms. We're decorating for Christmas after all. But we want our decor to be pleasing on the eyes, so that is why we are going for this awesome minimalist look. Start with evaluating. Just quickly go over, why is it that you are wanting this minimalist look in the first place? Is it because you want a clean look? Is it because you want it to be easy to clean? Mine is so that I have peaceful surroundings, that I can look around, not be overwhelmed. My eyes aren't looking in every direction. I'm not reminded of a bunch of work that I have to do, which is like cleaning up my surroundings. I can bake if I want to, shop if I want to, watch a Christmas movie if I want to, little SNL Christmas, the classics. Gonna have some fun. We need to declutter and clean before we decorate. Now, don't be scared, because this is very easy. You are likely getting Christmas decorations out of storage. Well, guess what? That is where you can put your normal ornaments that you have around. We're going to declutter the ornaments that we have sitting around. We're going to pack them in the boxes that we are decorating with. So if you want, just stick all of that on the table first so you know what you got to put away, because we don't want to be adding to our space with a bunch of extra things. I like to just sort of replace the things that I already have around with Christmas things, so that, again, it's not a bunch of extra clutter. Like, clutter is so bad for us women, okay? So we don't want it. Once you've got your old ornaments moved, give it a dust, give it a clean, get it ready to decorate. It's also a really good time, if you have extra stuff lying around, and even if you don't, just do a quick evaluation. If you need to keep any of that stuff, if you can declutter any of it, it's a great time to do that. And then I think you should reward yourself for all of your hard work. Maybe have a chocolate. While you're doing all of this, don't look at it as a chore. Make sure that you're having lots of fun. Throw on a Christmas movie, like we always put Elf on when we're decorating, or some Christmas music. Just make sure it's not Paul McCartney's Having a Wonderful Christmas Time, because I think that is personally the worst Christmas song. Tell me below what you think is the worst Christmas song, or what favorite Christmas movies you have. Now I have that freaking song in my head. So decorating can be a bit of a challenge, especially if you have a lot of things and you're just pulling it out of storage and you're getting overwhelmed. You're like, oh my gosh, what have I gotten myself into? So you can look at what you want to get rid of. Last year, when I was putting away our Christmas stuff, I knew in my head what I didn't want to keep, and I kind of do that every year. So I know what I need to sell or donate. I've got these great big balls that I don't want to keep anymore, so we're gonna sell those. Now, when you're decorating, don't clutter any one area. Again, clutter is just toxic for your mind. You want to be looking around at a pretty clean space. Actually, odd numbers are really good. They are easier for us to look at. I like to put 2 items about the same color and then a third, usually kind of a neutral color, like maybe white or a natural color, and then maybe with a pop of red. And that really kind of is easy to look at. You can take all of the things in. It looks good with the white lights behind it. They really create that little bit of a pop, and they do not seem too busy. White lights are a great addition to a minimalist Christmas look. This little tree is just so cute. It's great to add a bit of greenery to your decorations as well, because it doesn't seem to me to add much of a cluttered look. It kind of helps accent and it makes certain things pop. It's a very natural look. It's not overwhelming. It's also kind of a good Scandinavian look. They've got that kind of like nice white light, sort of like natural wood, and then they'll have some boughs of cedar or pine. It is such a gorgeous look. And when you're decorating your tree, make sure that you have a lot of space between your ornaments. You don't want things clustered together. And again, it's nice if you can avoid a lot of different colors. Otherwise, it's just too hard to look at. I like to put a lot of sort of golds and whites on this tree. A few other colors are great. They really pop. I love that look. Burlap is a great tree skirt. It's cheap. It blends in really nicely, and it has a nice rustic look. And it's really important overall that you put anything that is sentimental, anything that is meaningful, anything that's valuable to you in whatever your sense of that word is, prominent in your Christmas decorations. It's important because Christmas is a time where it can be a bit challenging. There can be times where we're feeling kind of sad. It's nice to be reminded of people, even if they're not with us anymore, even if they are with us, it's nice to have those things around. I have this is my dad's ornament. It's a reindeer, and it was his from the 1950s. I have this ornament, and I always make sure that I put it right on a prominent place on the tree. It goes really well with the decor, and I just love it. It's special to me, even though it's a plastic reindeer with only 3 legs. 16 Fridays until Christmas, man, people are hilarious. December 24th, dang it, that snuck up on me. Okay, I actually really love Christmas, but the holiday season can sneak up on us, and even people who just love it to death like I can get overwhelmed. So if you actually want to enjoy this holiday season, then stay tuned, because this video is not early, but it's also not too late for you if you're watching this later. Now, because we do a little bit of planning and a bit of work ahead of time, we can actually make it an absolutely amazing time. Now, at the end of this video, I have a secret to tell you all about. But first, let me explain how important the planning is and how I do it. If we haven't met before, my name is Robin. I help overwhelmed people simplify their lives so that they can start living them. All right, grab your tea and let's go. Now, I love Christmas, but I used to find I wanted to do everything, and I ended up getting really stressed as Christmas was drawing near, and that's not cool. So I wanted to bake all of my favorite treats, like Canadian butter tarts and vanilla crunch and all sorts of yummy things. But I also wanted to do a lot of other things. I wanted to watch all of my favorite Christmas movies at least twice, like Christmas Vacation. I gotta watch that one at least 3 times. We watch Elf pretty early in November just to get in the spirit, and I'll get to that in a minute. But I also really wanted to have downtime with my family, and the thing was, that was probably the thing that suffered the absolute most, and I didn't get all of my Christmas movies in either. So I've created a simple system so that everyone, but most importantly, I can enjoy this holiday season. So I have a PDF that I created, and it has the Christmas missions, and also I've got a lot of the things that I do coming up to the holidays. So if you like, you can download that below. Print it if you want to, although I would just keep it on my phone if I was you to keep that paper clutter down. Now, I used to kill myself to get everything done. And then it occurred to me that every Christmas season was not only my kids' holiday, but it was my holiday season too. And I would be pushing myself so hard and I would feel super defeated and really disappointed. Keep in mind, you only have so many Christmases, no matter how healthy you live your life. So I am the person that actually cares the most about these things, and I really did not want to miss any of them. So a few years, I decided to write everything down I wanted to get done for Christmas. I had been really disappointed with missing out on a lot of things that I really loved, and I thought, I don't want to do that next year. So I'm writing everything down, all of the things I enjoyed, and I keep it in this book. So this is the planner that I use. It's actually just a Pantone book I got from Costco, and I write everything I want to get done down in here. So nothing gets missed unless I want it to get missed. And I have it organized by page, and I have a page for pantry staples, planning, and I will get to that in a second, favorite shows, favorite things, hiding spots, favorite baking, I mean obviously favorite snacks, Christmas dinner, liquor, and a few important recipes that I just don't want to forget that are really important. Now, I was inspired to do this by the lovely Diane in Denmark and the Fly Lady, and I call it my holiday control journal because I think that they call it the holiday control journal. Okay, so the planning page. Now, have you ever realized that you needed winter tires after it snowed? Or that you wanted to buy Christmas lights, but they were sold out of the kind you wanted? That's never going to happen again, because these important things that you do not want to forget, you put them in your phone. And then you really can't ignore this because this is absolutely crucial. Then you need to put an auto reminder in each of those so that every year on the same day, it reminds you to do these things. Of course, you can tweak these things as well. I also made a video about the calendar and phone, and I will link it above, that little system that I use. Now, important things like getting your hair done, you know, the necessities, you need to put all of these things in your phone. I also put down when I want to decorate. As a Canadian, we don't celebrate American Thanksgiving, obviously, but I try to decorate just before the American Thanksgiving. Sometimes it got pushed into December, like a week into December. And then I was really bummed when it was time to, take the decorations down. But at the same time, I was getting really bothered by a lot of the clutter of Christmas gifts. And I hate clutter, but I also love my Christmas decor, and it is like a bit more decoration than I normally do. So, So put when you want to decorate in your calendar. Actually, I have putting like the Christmas lights on the house in my calendar for like right around Halloween. Only, not that we're going to turn them on then. We live in stormy Vancouver Island, and I don't want my husband up on the roof if it's like crazy stormy out, or it just is not going to happen, which is not cool either. Next, you need to take a hard look at your budget and see how much you've spent in the past and how much you want to spend this year. And here's a bonus tip. If you can start saving for next year's Christmas, just a little bit every month, you will be so glad that you did next year. Next, make a list of people that you need to buy gifts for, and then write them all a note and say that you're going to donate all of the money you're going to spend on gifts because you don't want to contribute to the clutter in their lives. Dear Mom, this year, I will not be giving you a Christmas gift. Instead, I will be donating all of the money to charity. Merry Christmas, Mom. Honestly, I wish I wish I could do that, but, well, I just didn't think that you wanted the clutter in your house. Okay. You know what? I'll get you a present. I'll get you a present. Now, every year we take our kids to Victoria on Vancouver Island for the Butchart Garden lights. They're amazing. It's like 12 days of Christmas. It's absolutely gorgeous. Now, I booked that one-night hotel stay when we leave the year prior. So it is over and we do not have to worry about that. We actually didn't get to go last year because of COVID, but I still phoned, changed the reservation. I can't wait. I then decide on restaurants we want to go to, or even, if we don't want to have it like super planned, just sort of an idea, because the worst thing is when everybody's getting hungry and then meltdowns start happening. I mean, and meltdowns with the kids too, not just with me. And then you want to buy tickets for these things in early December or as early as possible. You also want to shop for a lot of your pantry staples like really early, like really early, like the first week of November. There's nothing worse than thinking you want to go ahead and start baking some sugar cookies and then not having the ingredients. And remember, all of this stuff, I love it, but if you don't worry about it. I really go all in and really try to enjoy Christmas as much as I can. But if you're not as into that stuff as me, that's okay. You don't need to worry about that. Next, start baking around November 15th and then freeze it. Now, you're gonna wanna hide it underneath some steamed vegetables that then you've frozen in the freezer, because then when people see them, they're not gonna wanna venture beyond them and they won't find your baked goods. So they'll remain undiscovered until you pull them out. And then everybody's gonna be like, you're a hero because you got all these yummy baked goods. And you're like, I know. Also, don't exhaust yourself. You really need to take care of yourself. Eat well. When you're baking, try one of every treat, but don't go overboard. I mean, sugar can make you feel terrible. Exercise can make you feel great. And also, make sure you get a lot of sleep. Maybe watch the alcohol too. I don't drink a lot of alcohol leading up to Christmas, and I even have a reminder in my phone on Christmas Eve not to have more than 2 drinks, because I never have more than 2 drinks. And in the past, I had 3, and I woke up on Christmas Day, and I was like, I'm not feeling great. Also, set aside one day every week to relax and spend time with your family. You want to have that downtime. You want to watch those movies. You want to enjoy the season and not just be working all the time. Now, I have a bonus tip in a second, but the secret I was mentioning at the beginning is that if you have the time this year, try and get all of the planning and major prep done before December. Now, you might be watching this and it is December. Don't worry about that. You can just go ahead and start planning next year. Honestly, it is so easy if you just make a list of all the things you didn't get done and then just start plugging, make that list, organize them if you like, and then plug them into your phone. Now, you know the planning list I told you about, all of the things we talked about, like the planning days, the budget days, the gift buying, all of that, put it into your calendar. And if it's not too late this year, you will be so glad if you got all of that stuff done. But like I said, if it is like December 28th and you're watching this and you're like, don't worry about it. You can just do it next year and you'll be so glad that you did. I actually did my list and my planning one year right around Christmas Eve because I was feeling so disappointed. And seriously, afterwards, it has just been incredible and so easy. And remember, Christmas will be here before you know it, and you will be so thrilled at how organized you are. Now, I know you're dreading decorating for Christmas, but you don't have to anymore. Christmas preparation is a lot of work. There's sorting, buying, but I have you covered so you never have to go through that again. And you will love it from now on, or at least you won't hate it. Now, recently I asked my lovely YouTube viewers what stresses them out about Christmas, and a lot of people said that decorating for Christmas is what stresses them out. So let's talk about that today. Now, if this is your first time here, my name is Robin. I help overwhelmed people, maybe like yourself, simplify life through decorating, planning, and productivity so that you can relax and enjoy your life. Now, grab your Christmas tea or eggnog and let's go. Now, I'm going to have a bonus tip at the end about taking down your Christmas decor, so hang tight for that. Now, decorating for Christmas is a lot of work. There's the lifting, the lugging, the detangling, the fighting, the yelling. And then once you get your kids and your family involved, it is so much worse than that. That is before you learn how to simplify all this Christmas stuff so that you can really enjoy the season. Now, I also seem to end up abandoned in this process a lot of the time. Now, I think that the best way to combat your family getting frustrated and stressed out with the whole thing is to make it super fun for everyone, yourself included. Now, when my kids were young, it was really easy to get them excited into decorating for Christmas. We would just say, we're gonna decorate for Christmas, everybody, and they would come running up and they were so happy. But now that they're teenagers, it's a little bit more of a stretch because there needs to be an incentive. There needs to be a reward for the less motivated people in your household. Children, husband, The work needs to equal a reward after the work is completed and not before. Now try to make it fun. So order pizza.
It's Little Nero, sir. I have your pizza.
Have fun, maybe some fizzy drinks, some candy cane. I myself like to get some yummy festive tea. Now you know I love my Christmas tea. Now sorting decor you either don't like or no longer use is time consuming and kind of just plain annoying. Now this just takes extra time and effort. Now the best thing to do this year as you decorate is sort as you go. You don't want to be pulling out all of these things that you don't like every year just to repack them up, just to pull them out next year, just to repack them up. You don't even decorate with them. Decorate with things that you really love. Maybe it's something that just reminds you of something special. Maybe it's a picture you look at, it reminds you of a nice mountaintop or going skiing or something like that. Maybe you have a special feeling or it has a special meaning or memory for you. Put out the sentimental things in a prominent place so that you can enjoy them. The thing about Christmas is there's a lot of feelings that come with it, and as we get older, it just does not simplify. It just gets worse, to be honest with you. So it takes a little bit of effort to keep your mind in a good state. Now remember the difference between treasures and trinkets, and we will get into more of that later. Now anything that you don't put out, you should declutter. There is no use in hanging on to things that you will never decorate with. Make a pile to donate and a pile to sell, and then declutter those things within a week. When I am decluttering, I will weekly take things because I don't want them sitting around in my garage or my house just annoying me. This is also a great time to donate because others will be looking to decorate as well. So maybe you aren't well organized and this causes extra stress for you. Now, do you have bins and boxes crammed full? Do you find that the sorting is kind of random? Like you have a box with lights and decorations and garland and beads and then another box with the same thing. Are you not even sure what's in every box? This is the easiest and most fun part for me. And yes, I am kind of a nerd when it comes to this, but once Christmas is over, you get out your bins and you put things in designated boxes. Then you get yourself an ornament sorting bin. Now these are great. I absolutely love them. They have a grid so that you can safely put your ornaments in. I was going to get out my Christmas decorations in the organized bin with the different grid, but they are at the bottom of all of the Christmas stuff. So I just thought I would just show you, I updated my Amazon store. So I will show you, this is pretty much exactly what we have. It has a grid here, you can see there, and you can just put things in there. So on the store, and you can get these anywhere. And if you're in Canada, where I am, I got mine at Canadian Tire, but I did put a couple of options here. And then bubble wrap and packing paper, but you can get that anywhere. So those are the things that we use to pack away our Christmas ornaments afterwards. Now you want to wrap up the really special ones though. I buy bubble wrap from Home Depot or Amazon and I wrap up my ornaments and they should last forever, this stuff. So don't worry too much about the environment. You're keeping them safe. You can also just buy paper. I think that's good too. In fact, in my family, we just went through my grandma's Christmas stuff. Tons of it was wrapped in good old paper towel. I then place them in a container and I label the container with the theme and the room that it belongs in. So then next year when I decorate, it's way easier because I can just put things in the correct room. This label maker we got from my grandparents because they just downsized their house. There's a video coming on that next week. But anyway, I am going to print off the things that are in this box, the main things, and the room that this box is to be brought to decorate. Now, another thing, people might find that they just have too much decor. So the thing about Christmas is Christmas can sometimes look a little tacky. Let's call it cluttered. Now, here's the thing. You want a peaceful environment to enjoy the glorious season. Now, nothing takes away from that more than looking around at a room that is cluttered at Christmas. I mean, this is ultimately a season for enjoying and celebrating the birth of Jesus, and you don't want to be looking around and being stressed out. Now, you know I am not an extreme minimalist. I like to practice intentional yet reasonable minimalism, and you are going to see more of that in my upcoming Christmas decor videos, because buckle up, because it's not 100% minimalist at Christmas time at my house. I don't go crazy, but I think you're going to like it, so hang tight for those videos coming up. Now, one of the problems is not putting away some or all of your normal decor. So what you want to do is replace your Christmas decor in the boxes with your normal decor. So pack them away in the Christmas decorating boxes for easy storage. I also think it's best to be really mindful with what you put out for your decorating. As I said before, put out things that you really like. Things that are treasures, things that are special to you, like your mom's Norwegian gnomes, which your mom hasn't given you yet because she has them buried. And you're very patiently waiting for these Norwegian gnomes. I'm not talking about anyone in particular. Maybe you just really like it, but the thing about treasures is they are things that are very special to you. Like your mom's Norwegian gnomes, because they were there when you were a child and you really liked them. Just as an example. So treasures are really rare. Trinkets are things that you like, but they don't really have much meaning for you. Trinkets are something you may want to part with. Now, I think that the most important thing is not to overwhelm your eyes with your Christmas decor. This is when your brain starts saying, wait, there's clutter, and then it starts equaling stress for it. Now, another idea is to not put out too many different colors in the same space. You want to keep things sort of like simple in different spots. For my taste anyway. And you want to enjoy the holidays, and keeping it a little more simplified is best, in my opinion. Now, be really intentional with what you put out. Another tip though, I really like decorating with natural decor. I love bringing in cedar boughs. We do live in a forest, so I can get those. There are some holly trees, and I love to put some oranges around. It's just a really nice, peaceful kind of way of decorating. But again, don't go overboard by packing a bunch of things together, because then it will just become too stressful and cluttered on your eye. Now, for some reason, it just seems much simpler. Now, when do you take your Christmas decor down? Once you have decluttered all of the decor that you don't need anymore, you only put out the special things and the things that you enjoy, and you put the stuff that it's easy to put away. You've got your organized bins, so it's so much simpler. But Christmas decorations for me are more than just holiday decor. They are light and brightness during the darkest time of the year. Now, we live on the side of a mountain, and it is dark in the winter. At Christmas time, our house is dark at 4 p.m. and we live in southern Canada. So imagine what it's like as you get further north. So the Christmas lights are such a blessing at Christmas time. So what I've started doing is I put away all of the Christmas decor before New Year's Eve in their designated bins, but we leave out the Christmas lights. Now, I might leave lights on the tree and leave the tree up for a little bit, because the brightness is just so cheerful. I also have some lights that I just put on a sideboard, which brings a lot of light to our dining room, so I really like that. I love using natural decor for decorating. To me, it feels much more minimal than a lot of the commercial things that you can buy. It just feels so calming. And so what I did, I want to show you how I decorated my front entranceway using some natural decor. I made a wreath. I almost always make a Christmas wreath. So yesterday we went and foraged for some things for that, and we made them. It is super inexpensive because I had the wreath form ahead of time and then just a couple of other supplies, which I will show you in a minute. But it is dead simple, and the entranceway looks really nice. The best thing is, in the end, it can all just be composted, no waste at all. If this is your first time here, my name is Robin. I help overwhelmed people simplify their lives by being organized, productive, and creating an environment where they can thrive. I don't have my D, it's inside, but let's go back in time and I will show you how I decorated my front porch and made a wreath. So it's a little cold out today. It is 3:24 on December the 2nd. And I usually like to make a wreath for my front door.
at the beginning of December. I do the decorating of the inside a few weeks earlier, but I do the front door and the outside a little bit later, especially because if I'm using fresh greens, they won't last that long. Even if it's cold out, I mean, they'll just dry out. Even though our climate here, it's much more humid than it is in a lot of other spots in Canada. It's going to be windy. It is cold. The sun is going to set soon. At least I have a view of the gorgeous mountain. So I'm just going to go over some of my supplies. This is some cedar boughs. And then I have a local thing that you will often see in a lot of bouquets and stuff, and it's called salal. It seems to grow natively here, although it's hard to plant. And then my husband and I went and got some holly. This is an invasive species, so I don't feel bad cutting it. And I'm going to use something completely different today that I've never used before, and it may completely backfire, so we'll see. It is fern leaves, so I'm going to use fern leaves on my wreath. I think they will be gorgeous. My husband's like, "Are you going for a West Coast vibe?" And I was like, "Yeah, I think I actually am." I'm going to use these, but they may shrivel up and die. The thing about ferns is they like to be moist. But I do have a secret weapon that I will show you later on that will hopefully help these things stay in much better shape longer. The supplies that I will use that are not greenery are these. This is called paddle wire. Of course, it's green. I also have one that's just like a metal, which is fine. And then this is just a wreath form. I think this one is 14 inches. I would like one that's just like a couple inches bigger, like in diameter, but it's fine. And then I just have my pruners because I'm obviously going to have to cut down some of the greenery. And yes, I know we need a new porch here. I think it like straight up needs to be replaced, but the lovely guy who we love, our friend, he built the house, he painted it. Not a great idea on the West Coast because it rains so much. The paint didn't stand a chance. So I'm just going to sit down, get down to work, turn my podcast on. I always like to listen to like Stuff You Should Know. I love that podcast. And they have such great holiday episodes. I was actually just listening to a podcast all about Rasputin, but it just didn't seem like the right time. So I'm going to cut these down into small things about that size, and I'm just going to put them in a pile over here. If you've never touched holly, it has like spikes on the end. This one has a few berries. We couldn't find a ton. I don't think it really matters on the wreath. So what I'm going to do is cut it low, and then I'm going to actually cut some of the leaves off so I can actually handle it, because you'll see when I make the wreath without gloves, and I actually don't have any gloves left. Without gloves, I would be a bleeding mess. This one has so many nice berries on it. What I'm going to do is just sort of tuck this one in later. I think I'm going to make the ferns about this long. So I just take my form and I take my paddle wire and I just slide it in and wrap it just so it's secure. It doesn't have to be anything special. There are a couple ways to do this. I'm going to show you both. So one method is just to take a piece of greenery, wrap it around, and you do it kind of tight because this is green. Like I just cut it. It will dry out, so it needs to be tight. Then you come in with something else on top of it. You just go around again. However, there's a better way. Well, let me show you. I'm going to set this down. So I am going to make a bundle. So I take a cedar branch, fern, salal. You don't always have to include all of the same, but there you go. So I have a bundle of my 4 things. Put this bundle here. You just go around and then around. So I sort of went through the bundle and now around the bundle. And we're trying to keep it tight and try to get things sort of flared to the outer part of the wreath. See that? The bundle method's better, don't you think? Oh, my hands are cold. Just try not to push any leaves down. Like work around them. Look at that. Like this is actually quite fast. I'm going to cut this because it's got a funny little stem. Always make sure you can see all of your fingers when you're cutting something. Otherwise, you might not see those fingers again. I'm going to put this holly right in the front, nice and prominent. Now, we just foraged this stuff from our backwoods. We live on 5 acres on Vancouver Island. I feel very fortunate for that. It's gorgeous. And what's nice is you can go back on our own land, take this stuff. Oh yeah, that's not going anywhere. Like this does not need to last long. A couple of weeks. That's it. Sun goes down like behind the mountain, I swear, before 2 o'clock. That's what happens. You live on a mountain. You like living on a mountain, don't you, Robin? I do. Then you're going to have to deal with the sun going down earlier. I recognize that. Thank you. What I had to do, I think I forgot to turn the camera on. You have to peel back the section, the very first section, and then gingerly slide a much smaller bundle in and then wrap the wire around. I just sort of tie it haphazardly in the back, trying to keep some semblance of tension. Whoop. No, don't forget, I'm also going to show you how to keep it moist. I know people hate that word. I don't, but I'm aware of it. This is just a wreath hanger, and I put some felt on it just to protect the door. This is the nice piece of holly. I am taking these sharp leaves off. Okay, how's that look? Hard to see. Let me come in closer. So I can see a couple spots where I want to tuck some in, and then I'm going to do the special treatment to make it last so long. This is wilt proof, and it is made with like pine resin. So it's really nothing to worry about. It says shake it really well. And it says spray the tops and bottoms of leaves, needles, and stems to run off. Always allow it to dry outdoors in daylight, not necessarily sunlight, for 3 to 4 hours. Wash sprayer with warm water and detergent. So that would make sense, right? Because it's like a sap. It said to run off. So to me, that means to run off. Really spray it. And it says the stems, actually. And the stems are on the bottom. So I'm flipping it over and doing those first. There we go. So now I'm going to let it dry. My hands are so cold that I can barely feel them. But I'm just going to quickly tuck a few greens into this. When your hands are numb, it's nice because if you stab yourself, it doesn't hurt anymore. I'm also not spraying these because I'm putting them into soil, so that will help them stay moist. I can't smile because my face is frozen. Now we will take over tomorrow and I will show you how it looks. Okay, so this planter, I think it actually looks pretty good. I mean, it's a little funny, but we got the lemon cypress, and then I just put the cedar behind it and the holly in the front. So it definitely has more of a festive look. And then here, I just took some holly and salal and just put it in that watering can. I don't know. This area always feels a little much to me, but you know. And then there is the actual wreath. Don't mind my son actually put a label saying house on it. Silly. The ferns actually turned out really well. They don't look like they're drying out too much. And I don't know. I think they could in the long run, but I can always just remove them and put something else on. And the spray I put on looks really good. It even has a bit of a sheen to it. And I brought it and hung it up about 4 hours last night. And then this is just an old milk jug. And then my sleigh, which I also love. And I just took some holly and I just wired it together and just connected it at the back. And I have this little gnome guy here. I don't know. Might seem a bit much. To see my indoor tour of how I decorated, click here. This is my Simplified Home playlist. If you liked this style of video, let me know in the comments. I don't know if I would do this sort of one all the time, but if you like it, let me know.